Bulldog fans, to the 24-25 Mahomet-Seymour football schedule. We're here for the preseason kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, what's your last name? Waldinger.
Okay.
We got the whole crew back. We've got Simon. We've got Ryan, Mason. We got everyone back here. We put the band back together.
Don't forget about Rhodey up top.
Rhodey. I forgot about Rhodey. Well, he's up top. I can't see him. So, Dan, how excited are you, particularly with this weather today versus yesterday? Does this just not taste like football weather?
I was going to say it's very proper for football weather, and it seems appropriate that Earn Your Jersey Day happens. A little overcast currently, but it's cool. Sun's popping out. Bulldogs looking sharp in the jerseys out there.
How good does that field look?
Oh, man. Field looks great.
Makes me want to throw some cleats on right now.
It's not even lined yet properly, and it looks amazing. And you know who we forgot the star of the show is here, Chad.
Who's that?
Chris from Mahomet down
Chris
there.
Roberts from Mahomet.
Chris Roberts will be interviewing folks down on the field. We've got, Chad, we got a great lineup for the folks at home. We've got interviews with a bunch of coaches. We got player interviews. We're going to show some of the scrimmaging going on or drill work, whatever you want to call it. A lot going on the field, but really today's all about a preview of this season coming up for the Bulldogs, coming off that 7-3 record. Tough loss to end the season against Triad. Let's kind of wrap up, Chad, a little bit of wrap-up of last season, and then we'll talk about kind of what's next for these Bulldogs. So,
yeah,
great season last year, obviously, coming off 2 11-1 seasons. A little bit of a dip from that success, but, man, that's hard to maintain that level of success. Had a lot of seniors in those 11-1 teams.
Yeah, a lot of talent.
Not
that these guys weren't, but they were loaded.
They were loaded.
Yeah.
And so I thought you saw that a little bit last year, but they were younger. But, man, we've got a lot of those young guys coming back, and that's exciting. We're going to talk a lot about that today. But, yeah, last season was a good bridge year, I'd call it.
Yeah.
Still a great success, undefeated at home except for that playoff game, I believe, weren't we?
I don't know. Triad.
Triad was our only loss in the playoffs.
And it was by 1 point.
And it was by 1 point.
Yeah.
And some tough losses against Quincy on the road, a really, really, really good 6A school that went deep in the playoffs. So really competitive year last year, but we've got a lot coming back that are more mature, more experienced, stronger, faster, all the things that you want for a good football program that Coach Atkins is building.
Well, they were 5-0 in the Apollo.
Yeah.
Won the
Still
conference.
dominate the
Still
Apollo.
dominate. Here's just something I didn't plan on talking about this, but before we went live, you had the QBs out here throwing.
Okay.
And I just was kind of going through what we think we know about QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sure.
Everyone on that list was just throwing dimes.
Nice.
Just dimes. And they're agile on their feet, which adds a lot to the offensive game. When
Absolutely.
you can scramble out if you have to.
No, it gives you a couple different dynamics from a quarterback perspective if he can run and scramble. Well, Luke showed that last year quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Picking up some tough third down conversions on his feet. That's a huge weapon for Coach Berner and staff to have at the helm. And Luke, obviously being a returning starter, he had some quality minutes even as a sophomore.
Yeah. With
some of them big blowout games. He got some great, great minutes as a sophomore. Now he's got, he's a senior. Got a lot of expectations for him, but he is calm, cool, collected kid. I expect a big season out of Luke Dyer.
Yeah, and that's something I really appreciate about this coaching staff. And, when you get to the college level, NFL, very obviously you're developing that third, fourth deep because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't see that all the time at the high school level, but this team does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at when, Luke Johnson, went out.
Yep.
RB2 stepped up, picked right up where we were, right? And you talked about Dyer coming in when he got some looks a couple of years ago. He was ready to go.
He was ready to roll
right out of the gate. So
well, they get the same reps, and obviously with Coach has the luxury of having all of these numbers. Yeah, Chris, you can go ahead and send up Coach Atkins whenever you want. Having the luxury of big numbers, Chad, gives you the ability to specialize at a position which is somewhat rare.
Yep.
And those kids can then really focus on their one side of the ball, which
Yeah.
has been huge.
Dan, you want to take that one down there? See Coach coming up.
Yep.
We'll be right on time for the first time ever.
Yeah, look at us. So our first guest is none other
Speak of the devil, Coach Atkins
than head
joins
coach
the show.
John Atkins. Welcome. Welcome. Put that on. We're doing great. It's a great day for football. You're going to swap headsets one for another. You can sit down or you can stand. So,
Sit down.
yeah,
All
why don't
right,
you sit
fine.
down?
We're all staying. I
That's
mean, the
not
national anthem's done, but
Yep.
that's fine. We'll
That's
stay.
not even in
Stand
my
up.
vocabulary.
Well, I know you got a busy day here, Coach. We see all the players in the positions
They
they
look
need
good,
to be
don't
on.
they?
They look really sharp.
Uniforms
Am
are
I on?
sharp. We're right here.
I don't think I'm on.
You're on.
Oh,
You're
okay.
on.
You got to
I
get a
can't
little
hear myself
get a
talk.
little closer.
All
There you
right.
go. Yep, we hear you, Coach.
They look good.
Yeah, so, all right, we just kind of wrapped last season a little bit. You tell us your version of last season in a 1-minute kind of paraphrase. How do you kind of describe last year and give it a kind of a wrap?
Yeah, I think to be able to sum last year up in maybe one word, I would say success. Going undefeated in the conference, with a target on our back for the third straight year. I mean, that's incredible. That's unheard of. That's tough to do. And we kind of had a smaller senior class, but we had a great senior class. And I'm proud of those kids for everything that they did for this program. And again, the leadership that they showed. And to go 7-3 with that group. And again, starting, as young as we were last year on both sides of the ball, no doubt it was a successful season.
Yeah, we talked all of those things pretty much. We hit the same points, and what we said was it was, in a weird way, a bridge year, which who wouldn't want a 7-3 bridge year?
No doubt.
So that's the kind of program that you've got going here. Is
Yeah.
7-3 is pretty darn good for what we kind of say is maybe a bridge year between 11-1 season and whatever's to come.
And speaking of the number 3, Coach, you've got 3 returning starters. We kind of talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Talk about those 3. Sorry, I should be more specific.
Tyson Finch, Trey Peters,
Colton Metcalf, Polis, and Trey Peters.
So
what does their leadership bring to the rest of the team?
Yeah, so those are 3 starters that have started since they were sophomores.
That's what I was trying to get at.
No,
3-year guys.
You're 100% right. And so the experience that those kids got, not only on 11-1 team, but then certainly last year, through your bridge gap that you're talking about, they had to show that or display leadership last year as well, as being juniors. And so it's kind of been a great transition through this offseason, and those guys have kind of they've been a part of a group of guys that have kind of taken the reins, and again, really done a great job throughout this entire offseason and summer, leading this program, leading this team, getting us to where we are, recruiting guys. I mean, our numbers are huge, right? We could go on for days just about, how special it is to have this group of seniors that we have, and then certainly, like you guys mentioned, the experience that they had, most of them from last year, but in these 3 guys' case, for 3 years. This will be their 3rd year now. So
yeah.
And on that note, on experience note, I want to, Coach, we talked about it kind of last week, but talk about you've got a returning O-line, all of them back. You said this is the first time ever, right? Talk about that.
Ever in my career, we're returning all 5 starters. In theory, we're returning all 8 deep. You know what I mean? Because even our next couple backups from last year return as well. So that's never happened in my career. So what a luxury to have, being able to return not only the continuity, but then also the experience and knowledge, right? We've been able to do more offensively this year than again, ever in my career. And it's because of that experience that we've been bringing back. And I'm happy with those kids. Again, they've had a great offseason and certainly so far have had a great summer as well.
Coach, if memory serves, you're entering your 6th season. Is that
6th
right?
year here, yep. 15th overall, 6th year, yep.
So here at Mahomet, you're 36-13 or something to that effect.
You would know more than me.
Here's my question. When you first take the job, you've got a vision in your mind of what the program wants to look like. That doesn't happen year one, almost ever, unless you're bringing your entire staff with you, right? At what point did you feel like, okay, everyone's buying into it, we're on the right track, maybe we got to build a little bit more? When did you feel like let's just erase the COVID year off. That doesn't even count in terms of a record, but
You know, and we can even – I'll bring up the COVID year here in a second. But truthfully, I felt it from that very first season, you know, in all the small adjustments that we were making, whether it was how we walk the field, whether it was what we wear, whether it was how we approach games and practices and the different structure and the speed of everything. I felt it from year one with that great group of seniors that I was lucky to have in my first year. Those kids bought in to the change, right? And that's not easy to do. Change is not easy for people. And so credit to that senior class for kind of getting the ball rolling. And we went through some tough times there, right? Had to sit some guys out because, you know, we didn't have the proper attire on or whatever. But again, we would not be here and what we are today if it wasn't for that first group that kind of set the tone and they bought in, which then again became a trickle-down effect. And now you see where we're at. I'm going to follow that up with, year two, then all of a sudden it's COVID, right? And the world is on pause and oh my gosh, what are we doing? But again, because of that group of seniors that we had that year, and then some juniors mixed in as well, like we didn't miss a beat. You know, we were very fortunate that a lot of schools did not do what we did, and that's again a credit to our leadership and those kids that we had in the program at that time. So to be able to get through COVID and be successful as we were continuing to build through COVID is a credit to those kids. And again, these kids are reaping the – I tell them all the time, you know, what have you earned, you know what I mean? You still have to put in the work and do what it takes to earn what you want to get because those guys before you have laid the foundation. And you are reaping the benefits of what those guys started for you. And again, that's no disrespect to these guys. They're doing a fantastic job. They're going to earn it on this field, no doubt about it. But I can't say enough great things about, you know, the beginning and kind of where we started. Our coaching staff is incredible. Again, these guys make my job so much easier. Our Gridiron Club plays a huge role in everything we do, and especially giving the kids the experience that they get. And I think that's what led to 118 or 19, whatever we got kids out here, most, you know, ever in school. Like, again, I think it's a what do they say, a community, right? It's all of us. It's literally everybody involved that has made this program what it is to this day. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to end with this. We're not where I want to be yet either. So we're still you know going down the right path, and we're still climbing and still getting better. And we'll get there. I truly believe that. Back to the vision. I know we'll get there. We're definitely still on the right track.
We have one more minute with you, and I want to end with this, if you don't mind, Dan.
No, you're fine.
This year's schedule is a stark difference to the last 3 or 4. I mean, from an outsider's perspective, you look at the schedule like we're going to kick these people's teeth in. You're starting off the year with very talented teams. How does that go into the decision making? How does it prep your team for later in the season?
We love it. Yeah, no. We love it, and we want it that way, right? We always say if you want to be the best or we want to get to where the end of the vision goal is, then you got to play the best. You know, you got to beat the best. And so that's exactly what we try to do. We try to go out and we try to schedule the best teams that we could possibly find. And that's even underclassmen. If you look at our underclassmen schedule, you know, we're traveling to Morris. We got Rochester at home. Certainly still playing Morton at both levels. Like, that's what we want for this program. We want to continue to raise the bar and play the best competition that we can. We started it last year. We were able to find, you know, that 7A Quincy team in week 9. This year we were able to add Sycamore coming here in week 3. What an awesome treat that is going to be for us. Great program, you know, multi-time, you know, in the state title game. That's exactly the type of teams that I want to play. And so I'm excited for our kids to get that opportunity because, again, that's what's going to continue to help us raise the bar and ultimately get to where we want to be when this thing's all said and done.
Coach, we know you got a busy day. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to come up here with us. We're excited for the season to kick off and watch what this team's going to do.
Absolutely.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks,
you guys.
guys.
Thanks
I'm ready
for everything.
for Friday night. One more thing, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Budget tight for Bulldog TV, and Simon was getting worried about how many stickers I was using.
Mm-hmm.
So in his honor, we're going to sticker every interview person.
I love
today.
it. I love it.
There we go.
And I will wear it
get
proudly.
some more sponsors.
I love it. Great stuff.
Thanks,
All
Coach. Coach, we're
Appreciate
excited
you guys.
for it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Here's your
Okay.
headset here.
Next up, we've got, I think, Dan, you're going down to the to
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna
field
go
for the
join
captains.
Chris Roberts.
Chris Roberts.
Chris,
and
you want to start gathering some of the captains. Coach Atkins can help you with that when he comes down, and I'll head your way.
Okay, we're coming back in the booth here. We got Chris Roberts, Dan Waldinger down with the captains. We'll send it down to the track with those guys.
We're here with the senior captains for, we're looking up there, I keep forgetting myself. For Bulldogs, let me introduce the guys. We got Channing, we got Trey, we got Big Luke, and we got Brock. All right, I'm going to go through one by one. Why don't you tell the folks at home your full name, your position, what you like most about Bulldog Bulldog football.
All right.
All right, just pass the mic on down to your buddies.
I'm Channing Byers. I'm an H-back and a tight end. My favorite thing about Bulldog football is just the family atmosphere and being on a team with all the guys.
My name's Trey Peters. I'm a wide receiver and tight end. And my favorite part about Bulldog football is, I would agree with Channing, is the family environment and everything with that.
I'm Luke Dyer. I play quarterback, and my favorite part about Bulldog football is just the culture and like the community support we get. It just makes it really fun to play here.
Hey, my name is Brock Vanderveer, and I think my favorite thing about Bulldog football is just being competitive and doing the thing you love with your best friends.
Right on. Sounds like a lot of family strong atmosphere. All right, so each year the Bulldogs have kind of a tagline, right? Family strong, etc. Talk about, Luke, what's this year's and what's it mean for you guys?
Yeah, so this year we're doing Bring the Juice. It's just kind of something we started at our team camp.
Run the block.
Is it Run the Block?
Yeah.
Okay, we got two, I guess.
Well,
then.
you got an unofficial one called
Okay,
Bring the Juice.
unofficial Bring the
Unofficial.
Juice.
The official is Run the Block.
Okay.
Let's talk about both of them. What do
Okay,
they mean to you guys?
well, I'll do Run the Block first then, I guess. That's just kind of started with, we built the house, protected the house, and now we're running the whole block. So we're ready to take on all the conference opponents. We got 3 super tough non-conference opponents, and so yeah, just looking to run the conference back pretty much is what that means.
I love it.
So.
And Brock, talk about your biggest conference foe lately has been Mount Zion. Talk about what kind of challenges they have for you and what you're looking forward to in that game.
Yes, sir. Well, three-time back-to-back conference champions. So at this point, I think it's just a standard for our team and our program. So yeah, Mount Zion, but we don't take anyone lightly, and we just want to go out there and beat everybody. No one gets taken lightly.
That a boy, Brocky. So Trey, I'm going to you next. You're going to be a big target, obviously, for him, but you're also going to be a big target for the defenses because everyone knows about you now. So talk about what expectations you have for your fellow teammates to kind of, that might pop off because everybody's looking at you. Who are those guys that we might not have heard of that because you're drawing the attention, they're going to get some love this year? Talk about your teammates.
Yeah, I would say so. We have our receiving core is really great this year. I wouldn't say that any of us are better than the other ones. We have solid 4 guys up there. So yeah, everyone will be making plays and having big games this year.
Right on. And Channing, you play D-line?
No, I play H-back.
H-back, I'm sorry. You switched. See, it's been a year for me. So, all right, talk about the new position then and what you're excited about in the offense with Burner.
I'm excited to be on the offense. It's really high-powered, and I'm excited to be with Luke and Trey and all those other guys, and just excited to be a part of the offense. And, that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, Brock, you're the only guy in white, which means you're the only defensive captain, so you got a lot on your shoulders. You got to bring that defense along. Talk about your defense and what you got coming back.
Yeah, so obviously 3 senior linebackers, all returners, including Ethan Esker and Henry Wagner and myself. And then on the D-line, Noah Frank returns. We got Javon, who's a freshman playing D-tackle, big body. He's doing everything great. Huey Allen stepping in first year as a junior. He's like he never skipped a beat. And then DB core, we returned Braden Garrett. And we got many people rotating in right now. Starters aren't even settled, I don't think. So we're just competing every day, and we'll have 5 against Morton.
I love that, guys. We are so looking forward to Friday night against Morton. I know you are too. You got practice, so get back to it. Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Go get them. We're rooting for you guys. Back to you in the booth, Chatty.
Okay. Thanks, Dan and Chris, for the interviews with the captains. Up next, as soon as he makes his way up here, we've got offensive coordinator Mike Burner going to be joining us. They've transitioned on the field, as you can see, to some blocking and tackling, one of my favorite. Absolutely love to see that. And we're going to take a quick mute break. No commercials yet, and we'll be back with Coach Mike Burner. Okay, here back in the booth with offensive coordinator Mike Berner. Mike, we know how much you love to be on camera.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite thing in the world. Love being in the spotlight.
Yeah, well, we don't either, but the camera comes with the job. Mike, first question for you. How many years have you been the offensive coordinator here?
I think this will be year 5. I started with Braden Finch's senior year, so I think this will be year 5 coming up.
How has the program changed, and how have you progressed in calling plays, matured under the program? Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the high school level, you kind of got to adapt to your personnel. Like, speaking of Braden, I mean, he was 6'2", 220 pounds, and could run under 5 and a 40. So he was a dude that we used as a battering ram a lot, and he did a great job. Well, Wyatt Baum was another really good quarterback, but he had a different skill set, right? So we had to we're always changing and adapting to put our kids in the best position to be successful, essentially, is our goal. And what was the other part of that question you asked me?
Well, just how has the program changed and your calling? I mean, is it more relative to the players you have on the field? Is it?
Yeah,
certainly it's got to change with the defense you're seeing and
for sure,
and things
yeah,
of that nature.
Yeah, I mean that changes a lot. Like this year, for example, we had 9 of our 11 starters back from last year, right? So when we first stepped on the field in June, we were in a position where we had the base offense installed almost, you know? And so just that kind of institutional knowledge as we keep things mostly the same, right? There's tweaks and stuff here, but for the most part, we have that institutional knowledge where when we get here in June, we have kind of our base. Our kids know our base offense for the most part already, right? There's some small things we got to remind, but that ability to have so much in and the fact that we 2 platoon, right? Our kids only play offense or only play defense, so that gives us a ton of flexibility to install a lot of stuff, right? So that gives us a lot of flexibility. We can go from 22 personnel to 5 wide, right? And because the way we practice with 2 platoon and things like that, that gives us a lot of flexibility and allows us to do a lot of different stuff on offense, which I think is a huge benefit for our kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to bring up, Chad, he mentioned it, but 9 of 11 starters back is not normal. And the 2 guys missing, Pagel and Luke, their backups played significant roles last year.
For sure,
When
yeah.
Luke went down, Ashby came in, and Hammer, I think, I don't know if he's the replacement, I have to assume, for Pagel, but whoever it is, they played significant minutes.
Yep.
So are you able to build on that base offense and add layers to it?
For sure, yeah. That's
which
been
is exciting for us.
Yeah, right. That's what it's been the off season doing, and how do we, right? Who are our special talents? How do we put them? How do we add things to put them in a spot where we're putting the defense in conflict, right? What we're going to try and make you make a choice on how you're going to cover Trey Peters, right? What are you going to do? Okay, if you do this, then we're going to do that. If you do that, then we're going to do this, and we try and build those systems in to force them to make decisions about our guys who can be game changers, right? Or field tilters, you know. If you got Trey on one side and 3 receivers to the other, what are you going to do? You're going to send 2 guys over there, or just 1, right? And try and force the defense to make some decisions about that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you've got 5 of your O-line back. You're starting 5. We hear there's a little competition there. I'll not ask you to comment on it. But how important is that to your running game, your pass protection, where these guys know the program?
Yeah, it's been
assuming
awesome.
some of the schemes and the plays may or may not be the same, but generally they know the program.
Yep, no, it's been awesome. That's definitely been a huge step forward. And, you know, starting to get ready for Morton, game planning and stuff like that, we go back and watch last year's film, and it was like we started 3 sophomores. It was their first varsity game ever, and I don't think we had any feet left after the game. We shot ourselves in the feet so many times. I mean, false start here, false start there. It's a pass play, and I got 2 linemen running downfield to block the linebacker, and the DN's hitting my quarter. So, and that's all natural when you have starting your first game and you're 3 sophomores on the offensive line. You never want to do that.
Right.
But they've now all starters have started a varsity game, right? No matter who wins that other competition, they've started at least 1 varsity game. So hopefully a lot of that stuff's out of the way, and we can just show up that first Friday night and be crisp and clean and not have all those nerves of playing the first varsity game.
So another question I got, this is a little on a lighter note, but big fan, Chad is too, of NCAA game that came out.
Yeah.
How many plays do you steal from the playbook?
Coach Giorgio actually just texted me the other day and said, "Hey, when are you installing the shark wheel?" I was like,
hold it, Hot Rod. I'll call the shots around here.
And My wife and I have 4 kids in 7th, 4th, 2nd grade, and a 1-year-old. So my boys have the game, but I haven't gotten to spend a whole lot of time on it yet.
Well,
so.
postseason, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of money that's getting changed across couches at Fox Run. I can tell you that.
Love it.
Last year,
what play should I steal from the game?
Well, there's a couple of I haven't figured out the old RPOs yet.
Okay.
But there's some great screen passes, and I know you like your screen.
Oh
game.
yeah.
So we'll get to that. I don't want to give away the book here.
last year your offense averaged 35 points a game. Okay. I'm telling you like you don't know.
I didn't know that,
Okay,
actually.
I'm telling you. Do you ever pay attention to stats like that, or is your barometer for measuring more wins and losses?
All I care about is wins or losses. I shouldn't
Well,
say,
I guess it's a testament that you didn't even know that stat.
I
right?
honestly didn't. I mean, I shouldn't say all about wins and losses, right? I want my unit to do well and to help us win. But at the end, the most important thing is wins, losses, right? I think of that Mount Zion game, right? We played particularly slow, right? And we tried to keep the ball out of their hands a lot, right? We spent a lot of time in diesel going really slow, taking our time, just letting that clock chew off because of the amazing athletes they had on their offense, right? And we felt the less chances we gave them to make plays, the better off we could be. So we end up, I think we had 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game, but maybe we could have scored more, but did that benefit us by getting into a shootout,
Right.
So as long as the offense is doing our job to help us win, if that's going slow and we score 14 points or that's going fast and we score 50, I don't care. The main thing for me is winning.
One of the things I love about from afar seeing what you do as a coach and what culture you're building, Burner, is you really celebrate pancakes and blocks. Talk about the importance of that in the offensive game, because a lot of people don't think about that. You have receivers blocking like crazy downfield.
Yeah.
O-line,
No,
celebrated.
For sure. We do. I started it a few years ago. I think it was actually in the COVID season. Every week I screen record a big man block of the week and a skinny guy block of the week. And as a former offensive lineman and former offensive line coach, I know how important that stuff is. So we just try and emphasize it in any way we can and celebrate those kids and give them a little recognition for giving that extra effort to finish it off, right? And so we've been blessed with some guys. Going again all the way back to that COVID season. Dream Eagle was our best receiver by far, but that dude loved to block, right? When you have kids like him, and then he set the example for Quentin, right? Quentin was an absolute stud, right? But he would still go out there and give great effort every time it was a run play or a screen or whatever. And then he set the standard for Trey. Some programs you go into, I'm the best receiver, I'm this, I'm that, I don't have to block. Well, we don't have that culture. And some of that is going all the way back to Dream, and he set the example for Q, who set it for Trey, and now Trey's setting it for our younger guys. So that's really important to me because – we do a lot with those quick screens, but if nobody's blocking, then you're not going to do much. So that stuff's just really important. One thing we talk about occasionally is how you play when you don't have the ball shows us how much you care about winning and how much you care about your teammates, right? And whether that's sometimes not even blocking, right? That's the number 3 receiver who's got to clear out, and he's got to run it hard to get the safety out of there, even though he knows 99% of the time I'm not getting this ball, right? But he's got to clear that out to get the next guy. And so those little things, that's just winning football. And so we try and emphasize that and celebrate that as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just end with this unplanned, and I know what a humble guy you are and you don't like to be in the spotlight, but I'm being totally genuine here. I've got a defensive mind. I like reading defenses and thinking of – in high school sometimes, even if you look at scouting reports, you know what they're going to run, right? There's not tons of adjustments. And the one thing I like about – your offensive coordinating calls is sometimes we'll be up in the booth. I'll see what the defense is doing, and I'm like, oh, man, if he would next play, you're doing it. Like it's just really fluid, and it leads to a lot of excitement for the team.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
No, you got a busy day. Mike Burner, thanks for joining us.
Mike, thanks. One more thing. Everybody that interviews gets a
that's right.
Love it. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys being here and all your coverage throughout the season and all that. We really appreciate it.
You got it.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks so much.
We might have him send Turek up. Is that who's next, Chad?
Yeah, somebody.
If
Someone's
you think
up.
of it, send Coach Turek up. Thanks, Coach. Yeah, we're going to take another quick pause here, and you can check out the field. Check out those beautiful uniforms. Bulldog TV. We'll be back. All right, we're back here on Bulldog TV. We've got a special guest down on the track with Chris from Mahomet. We talked a lot about Bulldog Gridiron Club. We've got the president with Chris, Amy Giorgio. So, Chris, take it away. Why don't you talk there with Amy about Bulldog Gridiron?
All right, guys. Thank you. Amy, welcome today. And could you talk about the Bulldog Gridiron Club and what it's about and how people can help?
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for having me. The Bulldog Gridiron Club is an organization of parents that helps to raise funds for our football and our cheer program. All of our funds go right back to the kids in this organization and support the football players and the cheerleaders. Some of the things that we do with the Gridiron Club, for example, this morning we painted the paw prints on the roads leading up to the high school, which I think everyone enjoys. It just really gets the spirit going for any sport that you're coming up for Mahomet-Seymour. We hang the footballs that you will see on the light posts that will be coming up this week. And I know that all the kids love that. The footballs and the megaphones. It's awesome. The cheerleaders love to see their megaphones up there too. We help supply the student section for the games. We actually have been noted before in the paper that we have a fantastic student section. And one of our members, Carrie Bushman, does a fantastic job of organizing that with the student section, and the students really enjoy that. Another thing that we try to do is we offer scholarships. We want to make sure that every kid that wants to play football or wants to cheer and be a part of our organization gets to do that in every facet of the organization. That is one of our main missions. We also, one big thing we do is Thursday night team dinners for the varsity team, and that is a great team bonding event. They get together, they eat, and they just have some great time together, and it's nice leading into the Friday night game. So, and another thing today actually that I just saw Luke Dyer have on, we gave the boys all headbands. The Bulldog Gridiron Club did. So the boys all got headbands for today, and also the cheerleaders, we got them all new bows for them when they ended their camp. So we just like to do things for their kids that directly affect our kids in a positive way and this organization, because it's really turned into a great thing. The Bulldog Gridiron Club, you can contact me at Bulldog Gridiron Club at Gmail. And we are always looking for people to get involved to help. And I have done it for 2 years now, but been involved with football since Joshua's been in 3rd grade. And I just feel like this community really wraps around our football team. And we have some good organizations going with MSYF and the program that we have here at the high school.
Very good. What about Tent City on Friday nights?
Oh, Tent City! That's the place to be! If you are interested in reserving a tent for Tent City, you get 10 wristbands into the game, and there will be a tent designated down there for your group. We love Tent City. It's kind of a different atmosphere down there, and it's so cool to be right close to the game and see everything that's going on. So Tent City, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and Kim Ashby is actually leading that. So,
okay. Amy, thanks for everything you do and all your helpers for Bulldog Gridiron Club. Appreciate it. Keep up the great job.
Thank you, Coach Chris, and yes, a huge thank you to everyone in Bulldog Gridiron. We couldn't do it without them. So.
Okay, and one more thing about the website and how to donate.
You can go right to our website, send me an email, and we can figure out that. We are always looking for sponsorships or donations to our Thursday night team dinners. You are more than welcome to do that, but you can email me at bulldoggridironclub.com at gmail.com.
Thanks again, Amy. Appreciate it. Go Dogs.
Thank you. Go Bulldogs.
Okay, Dan and Chad, take it back into the booth. Thanks.
All right, we're back in the booth with Coach Turek, being a great sport. We're running a few minutes behind, so appreciate that. I'm going to hand this to Dan for the end of the interview.
Yes, that's a very important part.
I get a
of
sticker.
Oh, yeah.
Well, only if you do well.
All right.
It's like kindergarten.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to focus up right now.
A.
That's right.
So, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. You're basically rolling and in charge of the box.
That's predominantly what I focus on. Absolutely, the linemen and the linebackers up front.
So you've got your 3 linebackers returning.
Yep.
How does their leadership help maybe the younger guys coming up?
You know, it's fantastic because obviously, you know, there's stuff that when you're introducing, when you're installing, you always want to go that next step, and you'll go through things real fast. And obviously, we got some new guys. We got some guys in some new positions. We got some young guys stepping up, and they're just not familiar with how we do things. So it's really great for Brock or Ethan or Henry to go up and say, "Hey, on this on this call, you need to make sure you get into the B gap," or "Hey, you got to get on your hands on his hip here because that's going to keep me clean," or whatever. So those guys, they've been through it. Obviously, they've been battle tested. They know what it is. So for them, it's review, but they don't even need to review it. They know it. So they're just helping teach those guys in front of them. And everything's connected with what we do in the box. So the linebackers know by default where that lineman's supposed to be. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. And speaking of linemen, you've got Noah Frank, who's a junior, returning.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the other names that are rounding out, even if the positions aren't totally fixed yet, just generally the D-line this year.
So this is a year that's going to, tell you guys a little bit about me as a coach, because for the last 4 years when I've been kind of doing this job, I've had Jack Gallier. So
that makes it a little easier, doesn't it?
So, Jack started, as a freshman in that COVID-shortened season. In the spring, and then he just, he kept playing. He moved around a little bit, finished his year, his senior year as a nuke for us, which was great. But this year, obviously, we got some new guys, right? And even Noah, who's coming back, he's just a junior, right? So he played really well as a sophomore, but he's sometimes I got to remind myself he's just a junior. He's not a senior. He's not quite, he's still got more time to develop and all that. But the other couple guys we're looking at, we actually are going really young again. So with Jack gone after being a 4-year starter, we got an opportunity for another guy, Javon Tompkins. Went from one Javon to another Javon from last year to this year. Yeah, right. So even last year when Javon Tompkins was in 8th grade, we still called him Big Javon, and Javon Irwin was Little Javon,
awesome.
Right? Or Fast Javon and Strong Javon, but however you want to divide it up. But he's repping right now at our nuke position, and he's looking really good. We did some board drills here a little bit ago.
Just a freshman, right, Coach?
Yeah, he's just a freshman. So he's
awesome.
a freshman. He's had a lot of success. Obviously he played youth football.
Sure.
Not quite in our program, but with the Mahomet, team here.
Maybe Jack's heir apparent.
Right. Well, it looks like it, right?
Maybe.
So Jack started off as an end and worked his way in. Javon's definitely got more of a nuke body, right? He's definitely more of a nose, kind of eat up two blockers kind of guy right from the bat. But but Javon's been looking really good. It was kind of a couple of guys we were looking there. Obviously, we got Vance, who's got really good size.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So Vance has got some size, and he's working in here every once in a while, and
awesome.
and then we got Panagakis as well, younger guy. He's kind of moved around. He played end last year, and he's got moved into the nuke position. So he's taking some reps there as well. And then at the other defensive end, so Noah is looking pretty solid for us at the one, and then Huey Allen, who played linebacker for us last year, he kind of obviously linebacker we're pretty good on right now. So he saw some opportunity at defensive end, and he wanted to give it a try. He's looked good. We got another couple of young guys. We got Bo Back. Bo Back also was a linebacker, but he's just he's kind of an undersized guy, but I described him as a pinball the other day, right? Like he's the kind of kid, he gets, he'll take a hit, spin off of it, and keep playing football, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
He pursues the ball well. We got Luke Pooh, who's also a freshman. He's tall guy. Unfortunately, kind of being tall as a defensive lineman can be a disadvantage at times. So he hasn't had those years to develop in the weight room yet, but he does things really well. Coy Benway is another kid that's looking good for us right now. Slayton Deck, he had to miss some summer stuff because of baseball, but he's come out. He's very physical, and he's a kid that we might try him in a couple of different spots and see what works well for him. But we want to make sure that he's learning what he needs to learn too, so we don't want to move him around too much.
Well, let me just ask you this: see if you could validate this, because when I was putting my filters on my spreadsheet, I'm looking at them like, is this actually right? So you mentioned Vance.
Yeah.
6'8", 305.
Yeah, 6'8", 305. Yeah, Coach.
I don't care who you are. You don't want to
Right?
end up under that guy.
Yeah. Yesterday we were doing some PAT field goal stuff, and Vance was standing on the sideline, and Coach Atkins, Vance, if anyone's going to block a field goal, it's going to be you, man, right? Like, you don't even have to take a step forward. You just go up there and grab it. So,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, he's got tremendous size, which, I think there's that oh-no factor that if you throw him into a game, if Javon needs a little break and that center goes, oh, thank God, Javon's going out for a little while, and then he sees Vance coming in off the sidelines, right? He might. Oop, we got a little.
I'm not sure what's going on there, RZ. But
yeah.
Well, just speaking of Javon.
Yeah.
Is this right? 5'11", 305?
Yeah, and he might be a little bit under that. I'm not sure when that weight was taken. I think it was maybe at
but it ain't 205.
No, it's not. He's a big boy, right? So like I said, we do, board drills. For those of you that don't know, basically you take an offensive player, defensive player, and it's just who can move who. And I mean, he's going right up there against all of our returning offensive linemen.
That's awesome.
And he holds his own, and he wins his fair number of them,
I'm excited about that.
which is great. And he still has, his technique's still a little bit raw, but he's got a lot of physical features that we like. And he's another kid that he needs to get in a little bit more game shape, but he goes hard. He goes hard, and I told him, like, you just go as hard as you can for as long as you can, and then, we can rotate a couple guys in for you if you need a break. But
well, you definitely have the intimidation factor for an O-line that's coming that doesn't know what to expect.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some big boys that you're going to have to really work to move them around.
Right, yeah, definitely in the middle, right? And we've had some guys. I'm not sure if that's me or –
I think it's me.
Okay.
Seems, so I'm going to dip out here
All
for
right.
a minute.
But you're absolutely right. Like we tend to play kind of smaller ends that are a little bit faster, a little better athlete. I mean, Noah Frank's obviously one of our stronger kids on the defensive side, but we can go to that nuke position and really have a guy that demands a double team.
Yeah.
Right. Really demands that center's just not going to be able to own him. Right. Our rule for nukes is you can never get single blocked. You always got to get a double team, and that keeps Brock and the other linebackers clean. And size helps, right? When you got those big guys, you can do it with a smaller guy, but it takes a little bit more finesse. I mean, Javon Irwin ran some nuke for us in the past when we needed him to, but
some of the O lines that we're going to be seeing in the first 4 or 5 games, there's some big boys on the other side, so it helps that you got size on the D line.
Absolutely. Morton's always very physical and very well coached, big group of guys, and then obviously Highland. We know what we saw them here last year. We saw what they brought, and then Sycamore right off the bat. That's a perennial power run football team. They get after it up front. So we got it helps to have a couple of 300-pound guys. I don't know if I've ever been able to say that before, but it's nice to be able to throw a couple of those guys in there.
Well, Dan's got one last thing for you. We got to get back to coaching
too, and then we'll move on. By the way, you passed.
All right, I've seen the stickers coming out, so I got to make sure I keep my focus here.
Yeah. So I got to know, on the sidelines during games, your defense comes off. You're watching YouTube videos. What are you doing in there in the tent?
So we're not watching YouTube videos.
Oh.
So the way it works is through what's called Huddle Sideline, we're able to film from both the press box and what's really helpful for us in the box, and it's helpful for Coach Sievers with the offensive line. We're able to get an end zone view. So that really helps us. So obviously, we mix up our calls. We run different stunts. We run different blitzes. We're going to do that. But it really helps, like, hey, why was that run successful, right? What did they execute it perfectly and we just got beat, or did we not get our, we didn't get a head in the hole, right? We didn't get a guy there. So that helps us and it helps us figure out, what are they trying to do? And then that helps me as a coach not only coach up those guys and say, listen, this is why you have to make sure you get into B gap on that, or that's why you got to make, hey, you're getting caught on this, you got to scrape over the top of it. But also helps me with my calls, right? If we're having trouble, squeezing down to that B gap, well, maybe I got to call something where I put a guy in B gap instead of just trying to get him to get there. So it's tremendously helpful, and I think it's such a great. As a teacher and a coach, feedback is how people grow. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to go out there and play a few downs, come off the field, and immediately get that feedback, and then implement it the next series, and then I've seen guys. I'll use Jack for example because, we did this his freshman year. Mm-hmm. As a freshman football player, in the old way of doing things, he might, take 2, 3, 4 weeks to really get up to speed on certain things.
Sure.
You could do that in a game, potentially, right, where you can figure out, well, what's going on. I mean, for those of us, I mean, I'm assuming we're probably about the same age, played football, came in on Saturday mornings to watch film with everybody. It took 3 hours. Coach yelled at people, right? It is what it is. Well, now, obviously, we get to do way more teaching, right? And we can see immediately where are we struggling, what aren't we getting done, and how can we fix it and implement it, and it just really helps those guys.
Yeah, it's another big part of what makes it special here, that you have that ability to do the in-game adjustments on the fly with that text, so that's huge.
It certainly helps, yeah, and I mean, it's made a difference in some games for certain.
Well, Chad thought you were watching BTV the whole time. I told him it wasn't.
I tell you what,
I told him it wasn't.
I thought he had an
in-ear TV because they could just watch the game on the field.
No, you're right.
Well, we don't get the commentary, right? Right?
You probably don't want it in fairness.
Like when you watch the baseball game, but you have to put the radio announcers on because you like them better, right? You know, like I know what Coach Berner and Coach Atkins are saying, but I want to listen to you guys. So,
well, Coach, thanks so much for giving us some time.
I appreciate it.
Looking forward to the season.
Coach.
Thank you very much.
Good luck this year.
Right.
We're looking forward to
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. We'll take another quick break and be back with someone else. I don't even remember who's coming up. We'll be back after this.
All right, we are back on Bulldog TV. And we've got Chris from Mahomet down here. He's going to talk to a few fans, maybe a former player. This is the Chris Show from here on out. So, Chris, take it away.
All right, thanks, guys. We're here with Mike Horton. Mike, what do you feel about football being back for Mahomet-Seymour?
It's a good feeling, after, a long summer, a lot of baseball and stuff for me. And it's, when we had the 7-on-7, you kind of get into that mode, Friday Night Lights. So we're looking forward to it and ready to get back here on Frank Dutton Field on Friday nights, covering some football and highlighting these boys and showcasing all the hard work that they put in the past few months.
Tell the fans what you do. I know you do great camera work, but what else do you do for Bulldog football? And just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I run This Week in Bulldog Athletics on Facebook, Twitter, or X, Instagram, and a little bit on TikTok. So all the way from junior high up to the high school level, try to cover and update all sports and everything that's going on and highlight all the great things that these Bulldog student athletes are doing on a day in and day out basis. So it's a lot of fun for me. And, to be able to come out here and capture video and pictures and then use that later on to create graphics for these kids love it. And I'm happy to do it for them and help them succeed too. So in that way.
What do you think about this football season coming in? It's going to be a different one. I think it's going to be really good. A lot of, returning players, seniors, and I think it's going to be a good season again.
Yeah, it's a huge senior class. I think there's probably 18, 20 or so. So it's a big class, and they're hungry. They've been a part of the last 2 or 3 years that we've had a lot of success here at Mahomet-Seymour in football, and they've experienced that, and they're going to carry that on now. They're ready, and I'm excited. The offense is going to be really high-powered, I think. You look at the receiving core, you look at the O-line. I mean, you look at everything. Dyer at quarterback. I mean, it's just a lot of experience, and it's going to be exciting to watch. And I think our defense, there's been some talk that, it may be, we graduated a lot of great seniors last year, and but I think this Bulldog defense is going to surprise a lot of people. They're very hungry. And they're ready to come out and do some damage and step up to the challenge. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, guys like, Brock Vanderveer, and then you got Braden Garrett, who's a menace on defense. Just other guys, too. Kate Harrell moved to defense, so that's going to be exciting to see what is he, 6'18" or something like that. So, yeah, that's going to be a key piece of the defense, too. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Continue the great work for all you do, and we'll see you on Friday nights.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. Okay, we're going to hand it off to, we're going to go over here to our former Bulldog player, Brandon Pagel. I'm a little scratchy here, but I'm head over to Brandon. How's it going, Brandon?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing,
good.
Chris?
You want to look up here?
Yep, I see it.
Well, what are you doing now after high school is over, and what are you concentrating on now?
I'm going to the U of I, and I'm studying finance, so I won't be going too far.
Well, good for you. Good.
Yep.
What do you think about this year's Bulldogs squad?
I'm feeling pretty good about them. I know them pretty well, obviously, being a former player. And I would say, obviously, a lot of adjustments, especially defensively, after my class left. But I'm feeling pretty confident, especially offensively, about how we're going to look. And I know the coaches will get them into shape by first game.
Now, what do you take at the U of I? How many courses are you taking?
I have 15 credit hours, so it's 5 classes. Yep, 5 classes.
What about memories back to last year, your senior year? Just can you go over that? What your thoughts on that? Being your senior, that's a special year.
Yeah, for sure. It's absolutely special. Countless memories were made, obviously, as I'm sure everybody knows. Couple that come to mind, obviously, 3-time conference champs, undefeated conference champs is super huge. Just being able to do that with a good core group of guys that we've had since my sophomore year, that was super special. And then senior night, obviously, we got a big win over Effingham, so just being able to come into that and really show out for ourselves and the fans and what ended up being our last home win was super special.
Okay, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for good catching up with you, and go Dogs, and good luck to you at the U of I.
Sir, go Bulldogs.
Thanks, Brandon. Okay, Dan.
Let's go over.
Let's go. Okay. Okay. Let's do. Yeah, he's a big addition to the team. All right.
His role, Chris.
Here, I'll give you the mic. And
Nope,
okay.
Okay.
All right, Dan.
Hey, Chris, you're up, buddy.
All right, Chris. How you doing, Chris Andarelli? How you doing today?
Doing well. How are you doing, Chris?
Doing good. Well, you're a big part of this football team, and just tell us about how it is to work with this team and what you deal off and on, during the season around on the field off and on.
All right. Well, again, I've been with this is my 10th year with Mahomet-Seymour. I was with Rantoul for about 3 years before that. And then, I kind of manage any injuries that occur day to day in practice and game coverage so that the kids out here on the field feel safe and can get back to playing football in a safe and timely manner.
No orange to speak of today. We're clear there.
We're clear. We're clear. Yep, only bumps and bruises and boo-boos. Nothing major. Thank goodness. Knock on wood.
All right. Well, that sounds good, Chris. Thank you for your time and all you do for this Bulldog football team.
Thank you too.
Go,
Chris.
go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
All right, Chad. We'll send it back up to the booth to you. And actually, hold on. We're gonna go. One more fan here. Big Andy. All right, Andy. Hey, come here, Andy. We're coming live. We're gonna interview with
Bulldog TV.
We're gonna interview with Andy Ziegler here. He's coming over here. Andy, how you doing today?
Doing great, Chris. How you doing?
Good. Well, what do you think about this football season for the Bulldogs?
I think it's going to be a real good season. They're lucky to have this weather today because last year, remember this time, it was so hot and it was a struggle, but they're doing good out there. But this season's looking up. Go back, how many years ago? Lots of years ago when I started coaching these kids when they were in 3rd grade all the way through. And so it's cool to see them where they're at now and how they progressed. And their senior year, it's going to be a good one for those seniors, and I think the numbers are looking good for sure overall the entire program, and it's going to be a great season.
Yeah, how many years did you do youth football? Because you were a big part of that. A lot of you and the coaches, it's crazy where they are in this football field now, being in the high school.
Yeah, spent 8 years doing it, and then the last year COVID killed our season, unfortunately, and then these guys went off to high school, and then I retired from coaching at that point. So it was 8 years at doing MSYF.
Okay. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, go Dogs. Appreciate everything you do. Bye-bye. Okay, Chad, we'll send it back out of the booth to you.
Okay, we're back up here in the booth for the preseason wrap-up.
It's called Earn Your Jersey.
It is, but I mean, this part of the show
Well,
is
this
the wrap.
is the wrap.
Before we get too carried away, I kind of want to just look at the schedule a little bit. Let's just talk through that.
Absolutely.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, home opener.
Wow.
August 30th against Morton.
The Hogs.
Last year we had a difficult loss to them on the road, 20-14. You know, as Berner was alluding to, there was a lot of mistakes, just mental mistakes.
Yeah, a little inexperience.
False starts,
yeah.
you know, illegal blocking downfield, blah, 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 blah. They threw up 436 yards on us last year.
Yowza.
Chris, let me just ask you, what would you guess, how many yards do you think they threw up on us last year? Out of the 436 total yards offense.
Rushing yards, you mean?
Rushing yards.
I would probably at least 250.
No, you're close. 355.
Oh, they like to run. They like to run more.
They like to run, eat the clock, control the game. Right behind them, we go on the road for September 6th, Highland.
Tough opponent, tough place to play. From what I hear,
we're coming out springing. Springing?
Sprinting?
Swinging. Coming out swinging.
Hopefully Highland will be on the lowland.
Oh, saw what you did there, Chris.
I see there.
And then we've got September 13th, Sycamore. I mean, we are front-loaded for sure.
Sycamore is perennial powerhouse. They're in the same conference as Morris up there in the south side suburb area.
Oh, yeah.
Collier County. Great football.
Were you going to give us their census next?
Well, I mean, they play great football, Chad.
Oh. That's a home game. Right after that, September 20th, we've got Charleston at home. And we know how passionate Atkins is about winning that game.
It means a lot.
Means everything. The bragging rights. Right after that, 3 weeks on the road, starting September 20th against Taylorville. Next week, Mount Zion. October
Mount Zion.
11th.
Circle that one for you fans at home.
It's on my phone. I can't circle it.
Oh.
I'll try.
Yep.
Let's see. October 11th, Effingham. Come back home for the last home game of the regular season.
Senior
October 18th, Caesar night. Caesar.
We do have a Little Caesars coming, don't we?
Oh,
no,
really?
that's Papa John's.
Papa John's.
Never mind.
That's against Mattoon Green Waves. What's a green wave?
Well, I
Remember
know
that for trivia?
exactly what the green wave is.
Yeah, I know we did.
Waves of corn.
Waves of corn. And then final game of the year on the road, October 25th against Richwood Knights.
Peoria Richwoods, yep.
That's Peoria Richwood. So we're going to have a tough first half, but I think, you know, as the coaches expressed, it's preparing them. No matter what, they're seeing tougher competition up front. Dan?
Yeah, I think, you know what, one thing about program building that Coach has done such a great job of that we didn't really hit on today, or we don't hit on a lot, is the value of the coaching staff being consistent for him. He's got the same people, the Burners, the Turks, the Murphs. All these guys continue to come back, Begner. All these guys, they're all the same coaching staff, and what a luxury that is for him that he doesn't have to regroup every year and fill those positions. Even Alex Giorgio's been with the program now for a long time. So that coaching staff, the value they bring to stability and building that culture, I think, is awesome.
Well, you know, that's, you know, my favorite college team.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. The one thing – all right, just settle down, Hot Rod. The one thing I loved, at least for the last 16, 17 years about him, is that like Atkins, Saban, it was absolutely preached and believed, bought into for everyone, coaches selling the idea of the passion of the program and the little things. And you see that here.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you know, it starts at the top with Atkins. He's got to get his coaching team to buy into that. All of their groups have to buy into it. And, you know, we've seen it time and time again with this program where they just – they're not just out playing, right? They're buying into the belief that we can do this.
You want to be a part of it, just like we want to be a part of it from our perspective. Honestly, like Coach and his culture and program is a big reason why we're a part of it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be kind of a part of this program because it's a lot of fun, right?
Well, I lost a bet, to be fair.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Chris, talk about what you're excited for this season for Bulldogs?
I think it's going to be a really good season. I think they're going to be fast on the wide receiver core, good at quarterback, and the line's going to be big and fast. And you mentioned this before with Coach Big Vance. I wouldn't want anybody, on the bottom of him. So I think it's going to be a really good year. A couple of freshmen on the varsity team, and then you got the mix of juniors and seniors. You got the Daniel brothers on the line.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be a really good season. I think we are pretty optimistic. We get out of the gate early against Bourne and get a W.
Yeah, I like having them at home too, Chris.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have them at home. We saw that now 3 years ago. We had them at home, and it really catapulted the season for that 11-1 season that year. So looking forward to more of that. Can't wait to be in the booth with you guys. Ryan Ziegler is back.
Yes.
Simon is back.
Everyone came back.
The whole team. Rhodey. Who we got behind you there, RZ?
Mason's back
Mason,
here.
yeah, Mason's here. We're going to have the A-team back. And by A-team, everybody but Chad and I.
Hey, can I ask you guys one quick thing?
Is it personal?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It was like the diesel package from last year. Who do you think is going to be
Oh.
in that package this year?
I mean, Channing flipped over to the offense, so I gotta imagine he's going to be part of that look. And Brock, right?
Well, Brock, yeah, I would expect Brock.
You gotta
for
think Brock.
sure. I mean, he's strong, he's fast, blah blah. Here's something I would love to see at least once.
I hope you say what I'm thinking.
In the diesel package, I would love to see them throw in Vance.
Yes.
as the fullback,
Like the
and
refrigerator
just mow
Perry.
everyone over.
Burner, when you watch us back, just an idea. Just an idea. It's
All
like
right,
that QB sneak on the
One
game.
more. What about Javon Tompkins, a freshman?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Would he
big
be-
boy.
I-
Big boy.
but this year, yeah.
you put both of them in as fullbacks.
The other team might
You
just
could
run off
drive
the field.
your Muhammad Parks and Rec trailer sideways into that hole.
They might just run off the field. Well, we're excited if you can't tell. I think that's a wrap, huh?
I think I'll just say one more thing because I'm only half paying attention to you, but I'm actually watching the scrimmage.
That's very normal.
So we've got some second and third stringers in here, and in years past, we had some injuries where you got to call up, from. Why am I drawing blank?
Well, you got to call up the
from the depth
second
chart
guy, yeah.
These guys are really good. The receiver core, the running back, Cody Moen. Don't take your eyes off this guy. If something were to happen, an injury, we're stacked back here.
Well, and to your point, that JV team's going to be strong. We didn't talk a lot about all three levels, but come out and support the freshmen. They've got their own schedule. JV schedules out there. So that's going to be some really good competition at those levels, too. They're going to show out for sure.
Well, make sure you're at the field. We'd love to, of course, if you're away from Mahomet, join in for Bulldog TV August 30th, 2 weeks against Morton Potters.
Dogapalooza, too, I think.
Dogapalooza? Are you
I'm
going to
pretty
be in
sure
a bounce
it
house?
is. No, I will never be in a bounce house.
Okay. But, hey, listen, if you're in town, come join us. We need all the fans here to watch this live as we can see. For Chris Roberts, Dan Waldinger, of course, all the tech crew, thanks for joining us today. We'll be back on August 30th, and that is a wrap for preseason.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.